own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Welcome to the evening show, the 7:30 show tonight. Went a little bit late. This is going to be a little bit of a, how can I say this, a weird show, little bit different. And the reason why it's going to be a little bit different because the Democrats at this point are seemingly so defeated that President Trump is basically having his way. The Republicans are only the ones who are standing in his way, and the more they do it, the more it becomes apparent that we have a uniparty. In fact, the term uniparty was trending on X today, because it's the Republicans who seem to be standing in the way and stopping President Trump from just annihilating the Democrats. This afternoon, I showed you a little bit of the hearing with RFK Jr. and how he just bushwhacked these people. And then I also showed you a little bit of the hearing with Kristi Noem, and she did the same. And so tonight I've got some additional cuts that I wasn't able to show you earlier because we were running long. And I've got some more information. I've got some stories and stuff to talk to you about. But before you do that, I just want to make sure you guys understand. What we saw in Saudi Arabia and what we saw in Qatar was a president who was expressing himself, a president who was putting us on the world stage and letting everybody know, new sheriff in town, we're going to do things different. And I've been looking around and watching different people talk about it who pretty much have echoed what I felt, that was probably one of the best speeches I've ever heard any president make. Letting people know we are no longer going to delve into other countries' businesses and try to do color revolutions and overthrow governments. That's just not where we're going to go. And something happened today that, let's see, what time did it happen? This is at, 7:25. So SB, he had put it out, but I also had it here as well. Let me just give you an indication of the power, the sheer power of having a strong, virile president and the difference. Iran offers Trump a nuclear deal. No bombs, no games, just lift the sanctions. In a rare move, top Iranian advisor Ali Shamkhani said Tehran is ready to strike a nuclear deal directly with Trump. I don't know how he's doing it. I really don't know how he's doing. Actually, probably he's carrying which Roosevelt said, walk softly but carry a big stick. He's got an even bigger stick. And he's let these people know, I'm not afraid to use this big stick called the American military. The offer that Iran is making, because it is going to have to be them, drop sanctions and Iran will ditch its highly enriched uranium, its cap enrichment at civilian levels, allow inspections and swear off nukes. Yes, Shamkhani said when asked if they'd sign today, but he slammed Trump's threats. Of course, you got to have some bravado in here. It's all barbed wire. Still, Trump's team calls recent talks encouraging. With tensions rising and Netanyahu lurking, Trump now holds the pen on a deal that could reshape the region. And I would say right here that this word here, this phrase, reshape the region, is wrong. It's 100% wrong. I said it yesterday, almost got myself in trouble. Well, actually kind of did with YouTube because I called it a new something something order. So you can call it reshape the region if that's the new code word we're going to use. And President Trump's out there reshaping the world. He's doing all this. Now, who knows what'll happen? Iran, they may do the Zelensky and pull the football out from in front of Trump. But the fact that they're even talking like this, like, you know what? You're right. Let's just stop. We don't want to be turned into a beach over here. We understand that Israel can take care of us. And now you're telling our other people here in the Middle East that, hey, you guys can prosper if you act right. Again, some of you don't like it. Money talks. Money changes things. You guys can live in caves. You can live underground in tunnels. You can throw rocks at each other. Or you can get really, really stinking rich and help everybody in the region. Iran's got a gazillion gallons of oil. That could be one of the richest countries on the planet. All they've got to do is look over at Saudi Arabia and like, wow, they're building cities and they're building marble and they got all this stuff. And we're living in huts. Our people can barely eat because of these sanctions. So Donald Trump can come over. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You get your act together. You go ahead and find a way to put your hardliners in jail or do what you ever need to do with them. You see that now Syria, we're going to lift the sanctions on Syria. Iran is facing a complete surrounding. All the people around them are now looking to Donald Trump. Israel, and then again today, Turkey, but they blew off the meeting because Putin didn't show up. So Putin's over there. He's on an island. It's only a matter of time before he shows up. But you have to wonder, how did this guy do this in 100 and something days? How did all these people that were getting ready to seemingly nuke each other across do all kinds of crazy things, how did he do all this? Notice who's been very, 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 very quiet. The little rocket man in South Korea, North Korea rather. He's been very, very, very quiet. It's almost as if the entire world is looking at Trump and going, ooh, Orange Man isn't bad. Orange Man is badass. Orange Man has turned from Orange Man bad to Orange Man badass. And I don't think I want to be on his bad side. Maybe they took him for granted before. And one of the things I'm looking at with our own government is if you can see these other people aligning with Trump, they all have intelligence looking at us. You know what Five Eyes is. You're seeing all this stuff happen The UK guy seems like he got brainwashed when he came to meet Trump. Oh, no, 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 we don't need no more immigrants here. How'd that happen? So if you're looking over there and seeing that President Trump has pretty much is putting the puzzle pieces together, and he's quieting the world seemingly over there to the point where they want to cut deals, and you got leaders of countries touching their heart, looking at Trump almost like they want to cry, "Don't leave, bro, bro." You're seeing this. What do they know about our country that the media is not telling you? See, that's very interesting. When you're seeing hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars being committed, these people must feel very comfortable about putting money into America. And then you got Americans who are over here looking crazy, and they're fighting, and they're calling names, and they're trying to impeach him. What do the other people in the world see that our media doesn't see? Because you got people on the other side of the world looking, going, "Oh, yeah, that looks good. Oh, let me put a plant there and spend $1 gazillion." You think that Apple and all these other companies, plus the countries, are spending trillions of dollars if they thought that the United States was ripe for upheaval? Think about it. If you're a business person, do you want to invest in chaos? Where chaos may be. So although the media here tries to pretend like it's just going crazy, these other people must see something or know something we don't. Which makes you think, what is President Trump telling these people in private? What have their intelligence teams been telling them? Have you thought that? Have you thought to yourself, there are people across the world who have very good intelligence. Israel, Mossad, really good intelligence. And these people don't seem worried. So what are we worried about? What's wrong with our government? You know, he's doing the Asian tour, Middle East tour right now. And then the next tour, I want to see what happens, is when he goes over to, or actually has the Australia come here. And he starts putting this coalition around the United States. What do you think is up at this point? Canada comes in. He got real quiet. Carney's like, Mexico, I don't even know if they got a president. She doesn't say anything. Once in a while she'll rattle the saber and try to pretend like she's got big cojones. She's pretty quiet. They showed a picture of the border today. I don't know if you've seen it. Somebody took a picture, and the same spot like a year ago, and there was all kinds of people trying to get through. And they showed it today. And you got people on the border going, "Hey, what time's lunch, Fred?" I don't know. Well, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do on the border. It's a trickle of people trying to get in. So if you're armed with all that information and you sit back and you say the border looks okay, these other countries are pouring trillions of dollars here, and when you look at our news, it looks like it's complete craziness going on. Me, at this point, I'm sitting back and saying something isn't right here. And I don't mean something isn't right like Trump doesn't have control. I think we're watching a play. I don't know, you might laugh at me, but I think we're watching a complete play here. There's a couple of acts to this play, but I think one of those acts is something SB showed me. I think I have it here. Yeah, all right. Look at this. And everybody kind of freaked out today. This was at 4:30 p.m. There was supposed to be a vote on something on Friday. And the House Republican leadership canceled the vote on Friday. Just out of the blue, they canceled it. And everybody, and I do mean just about everybody, was freaking out. Oh my gosh, what are they doing? They're uniparty, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, am I going to be the contrarian again? Am I going to be the one who says, step back and look? Step back and start looking at what's going on before you freak out about this. They canceled it because it was supposed to be on Friday. What if Tom Tillis, John Thune, a couple other people are being, pains in the butt? And the reason the vote was canceled because the guy with the big stick is out of town. And the guy with the big stick says, just hold off, I'll be back. And when I get back, I'm going to have that Robert De Niro meeting with some of these people and bash some heads in, theoretically. Because if you look at that, and you saw people freaking out today, did you see Trump freaking out? No, he's over there getting royal tours and having dinners and looking at sword dances and getting escorted by cyber trucks and smiling, getting presented a soccer ball in Qatar. He didn't look worried at all. In fact, he was nothing but smiles. So could it be, and I'm just prophesizing here, could it be that Mike Johnson called President Trump and said, we got a couple problems, boss. And boss said, just cancel it. I'll be back on Friday. Cancel that. Wait till I get back in town. And then Mike says, all right, we'll cancel it. No, hey, boss says cancel. Let's just wait and see what happens. He's not in a hurry. His numbers are up. People are okay. The Democrats are falling apart. No reason to rush and give them more fodder. Hey, it didn't get passed. Trump, no, just hold them. Hold them off. I'll be back. When I get back, we're going to talk. Sort of like, your parents. And they go out of town and you and your brother and sister get in a fight and you start breaking stuff and your grandma calls them, hey, well, you're not going to believe what they did. Yeah, I came over to check the house and Jimmy had a girl in the room and Susie was drinking beer. Just tell them, don't say nothing. I'll be home. and then what happens when you tell everybody that? Because right now they're like, oh, are we in trouble? Oh, she says she'll talk to you when she gets home. Oh, no. You mean she's just going to let it stew for a couple days until she gets here? She's not going to call us and yell at us and get it out? Nope, she'll deal with it when she gets home. That's your ass. Any of you ever been in that situation when grandma or one of your other relatives told your mom, we saw her do something, and your mom doesn't say anything? I'll deal with it when I get home. I'm like, oh boy, I am in so much crap right now when mom gets home. And dads might look at you and goes, wouldn't want to be you, bro. Nope, not at all. Your mom's on it. Could it be? Barry, you could be completely wrong. But could it be that this vote got canceled because Trump said, chill, I'll be there this weekend. I'll be home soon. And then we'll take care of business when I get back. Doesn't really need it right now. Everything's fine. We're getting all kinds of tons of money. Things are going good. And if President Trump, during his off hours, is paying any attention to what's going on out there, he's like, these people have no clue. They're just running around with it. They're like chickens with their heads cut off. So perhaps everybody can have a good weekend and just we'll deal with it when we get back. And then, like I said, when you saw the thing that SV sent me, he's not even in Iran. And they're like, yeah, let's do a deal. So I said this came out at 7:25. It will be amazing to see what the stock market begins doing once they even sniff that Iran might be coming to the table. And so the other day when President Trump spoke over in Qatar or Saudi, and he said, things are just beginning, and it's going to take off because we're doing things differently. He wasn't kidding. Things are exploding, and they're going to continue to explode. I want to share this with you. This is something that Glenn Beck said about the same speech we talked about this morning.
And Paul, what'd you think of that? pretty amazing. There have been so many times when I've heard President Trump speak or seen his actions on foreign policy that I've been, oh my goodness, this is the best president we've had in my lifetime. And
I thought he sounded almost like Washington at that.
And understand, the guy he's talking to is Rand Paul, who's, has bucked President Trump a few times. And Rand Paul was blown away, completely blown away. Let's continue.
That point, just like, do it yourself. We're not here to tell you what to do. I haven't heard that ever from any president.
Well, and this is why the Bush wing hates Donald Trump so much, the establishment, because these are the people who wanted to spread freedom at the point of a gun everywhere. They thought we were going to shape the world for democracy, which is sort of a leftover Woodrow Wilson idea. But no, this is the part of Donald Trump I completely embrace, encourage, and will defend on a daily basis.
So I said earlier today that I thought that part of that speech was as significant as the Gorbachev tear down this wall speech. Agree or disagree?
I agree. It's incredibly significant to say, we developed these relationships not by bossing around the world, not by intervening, but by basically, trading, and he didn't use the word trade, we could have, but basically having trade and good relations with these countries that have developed themselves.
We all grew up hearing the phrase, you catch a bunch of flies with honey more than anything else. I think that's how it goes. But anyway, you get the gist. And this is the first time, as Rand Paul said, it's the first time we've seen a president who's modulating and negotiating and being himself without putting a gun to somebody's head. And then you can notice, who's freaking out over here at this point? Who's trying to get themselves noticed? And it's the people in the left. And today on MSNBC, I didn't even take it down. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to waste the time putting it up here. John Brennan completely losing it, because Tulsi Gabbard went in and fired a couple of people out of the deep state. Completely. Screaming. John Bolton on television. Screaming. I can't believe it. Yeah, believe it. They can't get it. They don't understand this is different. And I don't know why people don't understand, because he kept telling you, I am going to obliterate the deep state. And you're watching pieces, it's almost like pieces of the puzzle of this deep state falling apart. They can't get their fangs into the Middle East. What are they going to do? They can't get the money from here. They're not allowed to steal our money. And President Trump, if one of these judges is saying, you got to release this fund and release that fund, he's like, I ain't got to do anything. There's literally nothing you can do. Make me. And all they can do is run to the media and scream some more and say, oh, you got to do it. I think SB sent me another thing in an earlier show. We didn't have time to cover it. This one popped up. And it says, the judge blocks Trump DOJ from cutting ABA grants. The DOJ tried to yank $3.2 million from the American Bar Association after it criticized Trump, but a judge just hit pause. The ABA says the move was political payback and violated free speech. The court agreed punishing criticism isn't part of law enforcement. Okay, so you got a judge to write out a piece of paper. So, make me pay you. You see, I'm tired personally, and maybe you should be tired personally, of seeing these judges with these orders and no follow-up story. Think how many of these judge stories you have heard over the last month. Oh, he can't do this, he can't do that, he's got to release this money, Have you seen the follow-up stories? The ones where it says, yeah, he gave them $200 million, this guy $6 million. Because the court ordered him to. I don't see many of those stories. In fact, I haven't seen any. Tell me if you've seen them. I look all day. I'm looking for stuff. I hear them complaining, which means if you're complaining, you didn't get what you wanted. President Trump's acting like a dictator, Nazi, authoritarian, totalitarianism, all this stuff. Okay, so I see the orders. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Nothing can they do about it. And that's just driving them absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's continue. What do we got here? Come on.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Secretary Kennedy, I want to talk to you about your relationship with this committee and this Congress. I want to talk to you about the statements that you made to the chairman of this committee and to members of this committee during your confirmation hearing about vaccines. You didn't tell the truth.
All right, so before we get to the meat and potatoes of these people who are just complete idiots, and the reason I want to show this to you because, as I said earlier, it seems like the administration has huddled and they've got the same bravado that the boss has. I don't care what you think. You can just say what you want. I'm not going to sit here and let you browbeat me. And I showed you probably, 6 or 7 incidences earlier today. And now I found a couple more where RFK, boom, spanked him. And then, what's his name? Sean Duffy, boom, spanked him. And I'm seeing it spread. I'm like, wow, they're all coming across with this I don't give a you-know-what attitude. And so at this point, it's just getting to be one giant hornet's nest where they all just want to scream and you-know-what and moan. So listen to what this exchange between Chris Murphy from my old state of Connecticut and RFK Jr.
I find that to be really dangerous for our relationship. If I were the chairman who believes in vaccines and voted for you because he believed what you said about supporting vaccines, my head would be exploding. In the hearing, you told us, quote, I will not work to impound, divert, or otherwise reduce any funding appropriated by Congress for the purpose of vaccination programs. That's not the truth. You've done exactly. Let me finish my question.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said. I'm just asking you to repeat it so I can understand your question.
During the hearing, I'll repeat it. During the hearing, you said to this committee and to the Finance Committee, I will not work to impound, divert, or otherwise reduce funding appropriated by Congress for the purpose of vaccination programs. That is not what happened. You've done the opposite. You canceled $12 billion in grants to the states, including my state, that are used to administer and track vaccines. You promised Chairman Cassidy.
When did I do that?
Madam Chair, would you allow me to finish my question?
Keep going with your question.
When did I do that?
Let me finish my question.
Accusation. Just tell me when I did it so I can understand what the question is.
You have canceled $12 billion in public health grants to states, whether you know this or not. That funding is used by the states in part to be able to administer and dispense information about vaccines. Mr. Secretary, let me give you the full panel.
You see, one of the problems that these guys have had, ladies, they're all having it. They're used to steamrolling over other Republicans. Well, number one, RFK Jr. is not a Republican. And so they're not used to being contested. You know the whole reclaiming my time. Dude, he asked you, you got a question? I don't hear a question. You're up here pontificating. And then, he's basically calling him a liar. Show me. Where'd I say that?
Of the things you said before this committee that didn't turn out to be true. You also promised Chairman Cassidy that the FDA would not change vaccine standards from, quote, historical norms. But what happened as soon as you were sworn in? You announced new standards for vaccine approvals that you proudly referred to in your own press release as a radical departure from current practice. And experts say that departure will delay approvals. You also said, specific to the measles vaccine, that you support the measles vaccine. But you have consistently been undermining the measles vaccine. You told the public that the vaccine wanes very quickly. You went on the Dr. Phil show and said that the measles vaccine was never fully tested for safety. You said there's fetal debris in the measles vaccine. And this morning...
All true.
This morning in front of...
Do you want me to lie to the public?
That's not... None of that is...
Of course it's true. Of course it's true, Senator. You're Senator begging your progress. You do not know what you're talking about.
They're just so not ready for this. You don't know what you're talking about. You're lying. They're used to, I say Republicans, but they're used to people across from them kowtowing and then just accepting it and realizing they go on for like 4.5 minutes with statements instead of asking the witness questions. What's your flipping question? Instead, you're trying to force all this stuff into the record, and you're using it to basically use television to get your point out, but it's not true. Now you're getting called on it, and you're not liking it at all.
Let's have a little bit of order so that you can get
Madam
your
Chair,
question
I'm
and
speaking.
he can get
I didn't
his
ask. I didn't ask for a response yet.
I understand
I'd like to
that.
lay out the predicate of my question before I'm interrupted by the witness. He should
Go
have some
ahead.
respect for this committee.
Go ahead.
Just this morning in front of the House of Representatives, you also said that you, in fact, would not recommend that kids get vaccinated for measles. You said you would just lay out the pros and cons. Okay, so this is the summation of everything that you have said to compromise people's faith in the measles vaccine in particular is contrary to what you said before this committee. You said you support the measles vaccine, but then you have laid out a set of facts that are contested, and I will submit information for the record from experts who contest what you've said about the vaccine. And the result is to undermine faith in the vaccine. It's kind of like saying, listen, I think you should swim in that lake, but, you know, the lake is probably toxic and there's probably a ton of snakes and alligators in that lake, but I think you should swim in it. Nobody's going to swim in that lake if that's what you say. And so I want you to acknowledge that when you say you support the measles vaccine and then go out and repeatedly undermine the vaccine with information that is contested by public health experts, that is not supporting the vaccine. And so I guess I have two simple questions for you.
Question.
One is, can you clarify what you said in the House this morning? Are you or are you not recommending that families get their children vaccinated, or are you just giving people the pros and cons? And do you understand that when you say these things about the measles vaccine, what ends up happening is less people get the vaccine? That may be what you want, but do you understand that the result of constantly questioning...
I love his body language here. See, most people would be up and be listening intently to what the senator is saying. Okay, you know, he's a senator. Look at RFK. Yeah, what you got? I love it. Just the body language alone is, I don't care. I don't give this much what you have to say. And there's nothing you can do about it. Look at the guy. Here, let me get full screen so you can see how he's just laid back. Hold on, let's see.
The efficacy...
Look at that. Just laid back. Don't care. I don't care.
Or safety of the vaccine results in less people getting the vaccine. So I don't necessarily want to spend the remaining 20 seconds in an argument over the science, but do you at least understand that that's the consequence of what you're saying? And are you actually still recommending people get the vaccine, or are you not?
Senator, if I advised you to swim in a lake that I knew there to be alligators in, wouldn't you want me to tell you there were alligators in it?
So are you recommending the measles vaccine or not?
What I've said and what I said...
It doesn't sound like you are, if that's...
Are you going to let me answer? Are you going to keep interrupting?
Are you or are you not?
Are you going to let me answer? What I pledged before this committee during my confirmation is that I would tell the truth, that I would have radical transparency. I'm going to tell the truth about everything we know and we don't know about vaccines.
Are you recommending the measles vaccine or not?
I am not going to just tell people everything is safe and effective if I know that there's issues. I need to respect people's intelligence.
I think you're answering the question. I think you're answering the question. That's really dangerous for the American public and for families.
The reason people have lost faith in this program is because they've been lied to by public officials for year after year after year.
No longer recommending the measles vaccine.
Senator Marshall.
All right. And by the way, I said at the hearing this morning that I was recommending the measles vaccine. Go look at the transcript.
Senator Marshall.
Madam Chairman, thank you, thanks so much.
Did you see the guy in the green hat behind him? He's like, ah, this is good. I'm glad I got a front row ticket. That's you. That should be every single one of you when you start hearing nuts talk about something, and it was perfect, his response. Am I going to recommend that you go swim in that lake if I know there's alligators in it? Okay, if you want to go. I mean, some people have come back out of it okay. Other people coming out missing an arm. It's up to you. And Murphy is saying it's dangerous because you're warning people. You shouldn't warn anybody and just let them take it. Now, YouTube will probably have a problem because I'm talking about those jabs, but that's exactly what he's saying. I would want to know, hey, listen, if you take this, this is what could happen. The Democrats are like, just say you take it. Don't give them any options. Don't tell them your elbow could like dissolve. Don't tell them any of that. Just say take it. And then that leads to the next question that should be asked. Why are you so forceful in not wanting people to understand the ramifications of their decisions? People every single day take drinks, and they'll drink scotch or bourbon or whatever, and you know the ramifications of drinking. People smoke pot. Every single day, people know the ramifications of smoking pot. Every single day, people are puffing, and right on the pack of cigarettes it said, hey, yeah, this could kill you. So every single day, people do things in the course of living based upon decisions they are personally making. Barry, if you go have that blueberry muffin, you know it could make you sick because it could make your sugar spike. All right, I know. Hey, listen, you could get this jab, and well, what could happen? Oh no, you can't ask that question. What do you mean? Every decision in my life, I ask the question. Every single day of your life, you're posed with that question, and that question is, are you willing to do X, Y, and Z because you know the outcome? Every single one of you. Hey, listen, I'm going to go up and backslap my spouse. You know what the outcome will be. You have that knowledge. Well, I don't think she would take that too well. And then I wouldn't be able to go to sleep tonight because there's a stove with hot water she could make. And I sleep so hard, that hot water would be all over me. Because, I know the ramifications of what I would be getting into. If you drive 75 miles an hour on a highway and it's in a 45 mile an hour zone, it's your choice. But yes, I could get a ticket or worse. I only bring this up because isn't it odd that your government, the people who have been elected by your peers, are saying to the health secretary, don't warn people. To me, that's frightening. Shh, don't tell them anything. It might change their minds. Huh? What do you mean? Shouldn't they know? If all of a sudden there was a problem, and think about this, guys, liberal guys too. If you knew you were going to put on a condom, and that condom was going to cause certain things to fall off, is it worth it to me? I don't think so. I ain't doing it. Because you have the information. Our entire lives, whether it's buying gold, whether it's buying property, whether it's something to eat, whether it's asking a woman or a man out on a date, trying to build a relationship, every single one of these things is based upon information that you garner. Sometimes over a course of years. Dogs, your car, everything. There's nothing in your life that you haven't made a decision on based upon knowledge that you have obtained. And your government is saying you shouldn't know what the ramifications of doing this is. Just shut up and take it. What's in it? I don't know. What are the side effects? I don't know. But you just want me to take it and give it to my kids, right? Yeah, they might grow a third eye. I'm not really sure, but take it. That, all day long, all the stuff I saw, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen, literally, about government. Because he openly admitted, you should never tell people the bad stuff. Because they might have second thoughts. Whew. That's your government.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, one of my constituents, her name's Natalie Phelps. She's a mom of two from Bainbridge Island in Washington State. She has been fighting aggressive stage 4 colorectal cancer for nearly 5 years now. Her best hope now is a clinical trial she's participating in at the NIH Clinical Center. She flew out to NIH a few weeks ago for her first appointment, and her care team there wanted her to come back in 4 weeks to start treatment. But because of the thoughtless mass firing of thousands of critical employees across NIH and HHS that you carried out, Natalie's doctors at that clinical center have told her they have no choice but to delay her treatment by an additional 4 weeks. Now, an extra 4 weeks may not sound like a long time, but I will tell you, for stage 4 cancer patients like Natalie, this could mean the difference between life and death. Secretary Kennedy, how many staff have been cut from the NIH's clinical center? I want a specific number.
Yeah, I can't tell you that now, Senator Murray. What I can tell you is that if you contact my office tomorrow, I'll look specifically into that.
Well, that is not acceptable. I want an answer back by that. She deserves it. I do it. She doesn't have much time. She deserves an answer back.
Wouldn't you rather get her into that clinical trial as fast as you can?
Absolutely.
All right, so if you contact my office tomorrow, this is if that happened.
You are here to defend your budget. I'm here to ask you questions about the impact of that.
Well, you asked me about a specific case that I want to help with. I don't think anybody.
But there are.
I don't think that should happen to anybody.
Okay. Well,
So he called her on her BS. Yeah, I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. I'll be back in my office tomorrow. Call me with the patient's information. I'll look it up specifically. Huh? I need now. I don't have a computer sitting here. Tomorrow's too late? I can't go back to my office and have staff dig into this? I'm calling BS on Patty Murray here. Oh, I think you made it up.
Have you, and I mean you personally, done to assess how those staff cuts are impacting patient care? She is one of many. What have you done to assess that?
I provided the guidelines that said no clinical trials should be affected by the cuts. I have, maximum only.
Mr. Secretary, I just have a short amount of time. They are impacting clinical trials.
You asked me a question. Do you want me to answer it?
I want to tell you, you need to know this. You're here to defend the NIH budget, which
Senator, do you want me to answer your question?
Well, I want to.
You want me to answer your question, Senator?
Tell you that Natalie is sitting there waiting for
treatment. The answer is she can't give you is no. She doesn't want you to answer. She wanted to put a hypothetical situation out there that I bet you I would put money, dollar to a donut, that after this is over, she didn't go to him and said, yeah, it's Sheila Jones from Chicago. Can you look into her file? I bet you that didn't even happen. It's all theatrics.
I'm offering to help her, but you don't care. You don't care about Natalie. I've offered to help Natalie.
I am asking you a question, and it is critical. You are here to defend cutting NIH by half. Do you genuinely believe that won't result in more stories like Natalie's?
I think the cuts that are now proposed by the NIH are going to hurt. I think that President Trump, listen, there's no agency head in the government like myself that wants to see their budget cut. And
I asked you, have you personally assessed what this is doing to patients? And I am telling you one story of one person. It is impacting life or death situation. I think it's.
You want me to answer your question, Senator?
Well, you did.
No, I am not. You have not allowed me to answer it.
Well, I will just say that it is my job to be a voice for people like Natalie and countless other patients who are like her. So you've got to fix this. I want to know, and I want a personal update on Natalie's case, and you offered that. Please give that to me in the next 24 hours, and I expect details and transparency about the state of NIH clinical care.
You contact my office, Senator.
I think you could contact
everything in my power to try to get Natalie into
I got 1 minute left, and I want to ask you about the NIOSH cuts. I am really alarmed by your decision to essentially eliminate the National Institutes for Occupational Safety and Health. You've already fired nearly 90% of the staff. That includes the staff in my state at the Spokane Research Lab. Those are experts. They do essential work to protect miners and firefighters and farm workers, people who work in dangerous conditions. I am told that after a backlash, you are reinstating some of those, mainly in the West Virginia office, but nobody in the Western United States. And there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to how you've made these decisions. And how do you explain this to my constituents in Spokane who are out of a job and the workers that are being impacted by that?
The work in NIASH will not be interrupted. I've brought back 328 workers, mainly in the Cleveland office and the Morgantown office and for the World Trade Center site. And that work will continue. The work on mine safety will continue. The epicenter of that work has been Cleveland and it's been Morgantown. We understand it's a critically important function, and I did not want to see it end.
Mr. Chairman, I would just say you can't fire 90% of the people and assume the work gets done.
Senator Collins.
I wonder if as they're asking these questions, are they realizing they have nothing? I want to know in 24 hours. Well, you know what? We should all just convene at, I don't know, what time was that on the screen? 2:13 tomorrow and say, hey, Senator Murray, did you find out anything? Where'd you get blown off? Because I'm going to put my money on blown off. I think they have these hearings and they mean absolutely nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If you'd like also for me to submit to the record with unanimous consent today, the findings of the state of Maryland, which fined him $10,000 for practicing medicine without a license. He does not have a medical license, and for providing and instructing and giving children hormone blockers. That is what the finding of the Maryland Department, the state of Maryland, its medical licensing board was. And I'll submit that for the record, I hope with unanimous consent.
I'm assuming that you don't know what I'm about to tell you, or you wouldn't say something that was so dishonest. You may or may not know that David Geyer sued the American.
I do know that. I do know that. That doesn't change the findings, nor does it change the experience of the parents who testified.
That finding was reversed by court, and he was awarded $5 million.
That is not true. Now let me ask you. So I just want confirmation. David Geyer is still at HHS. I wrote you a letter about this a month ago, and you have not responded.
Well, I apologize for that. That's our bad. And I will respond. But David Geyer is not managing autism research.
So what is his job? What is his job at HHS? This is somebody who gave parents the impression that he was a doctor and gave hormone blockers to children as young as 8, telling them that hormone blockers would somehow magically help their kids with autism.
His father
His father is a doctor, but he is not. And his father was not in the room and did not, and he faked his father's signature according to the State Board of Medicine.
And that ruling was overturned by a court. So what you're saying is just wrong. It's just a lie. And they were.
Imagine that. You're a sitting senator in the United States government, and you're openly lying in a forum like that, a hearing. You know it was overturned. You know the judge threw it out, but you just wanted to say it to be bombastic. This is how desperate the Democrats are. I couldn't believe it. I had to go look it up afterwards. I'm like, did he make a mistake? But did that really happen? Did that judgment really get thrown out of court for being wrong? Did she really just lie to open? Yep. Just sat there and made it up and lied and she was hoping that he hadn't found out that information. But he was waiting for her. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing, and she got caught with her pants down.
Actually, the court said that the Maryland Board of Physicians was guilty of actual malice in fabricating those charges against David Geyer.
Well, we will.
And Mr. Secretary, I'm over here. I've been sitting through this hearing.
All right, so he shut that other lady up really bad. And so now this lady shows up. She's Senator, I forget her name. And she takes the entirety of her time, which I'm not going to make you suffer through. But she takes her time to do nothing but trash RFK Jr. This is supposed to be a Q&A. They're doing some fact-finding. But no, it's not fact-finding. It's just an opportunity for the Democrats to grandstand once again.
All day today, and have noted that you've been unable, in most instances, to answer any specific questions relating to your agency.
Because I haven't been given time.
Well, no, you have been given time, but the point of the matter is you've been unable to answer specific questions. Sir, you are the wrong person for this job, and you had in this hearing today the unmitigated gall to say at the beginning of your testimony that China is ahead of the United States in healthcare because China does not have DEI.
I didn't say that.
Well, we can roll back the tape. You absolutely did.
And you will find I didn't say that.
That is absolutely what you said.
I was talking about science. I didn't say they're ahead of us. They're ahead of us in some forms of science, certainly not in healthcare.
Well, we can roll back the tape, but nonetheless, let me go on with my questions and ask you this. You just heard about the Safe to Sleep campaign, and you have made cuts. You made it very clear here today. You have no knowledge whatsoever of the absolutely amazing scientists and researchers who you have callously fired. You know nothing about the cuts.
You can fire any working scientist, Senator.
That, sir, is not true either. But nonetheless,
it is true.
It is not true. Let me ask you another specific
I am, but what are you? Oh my gosh. They're just used to just rolling over people and they can't take it. That is like, you're lying. You, ma'am, are a liar. I love it. I love it that this administration is just letting these people know it's not going to work that way anymore. You're going to waste your time having these hearings hoping that you get gotchas. We're going to spank you. We're going to hit back. We're going to hit back hard. And if it comes to the point where I got to defend myself, yes, you're a liar. So at that point, people in the hearing, whoever is watching on C-SPAN or wherever, you have to then, like I've been telling you, go look it up yourself. Go look it up and see who's lying. I'm pretty sure what you're going to find out is RFK Jr. wasn't lying. These people are being handed pieces of paper and told what to ask and then just say whatever because that's how they've always done it. It's not working with the Trump administration. So as we were talking about some health stuff, this is very interesting. This is something that just got posted 7:55. So a little over half an hour ago, SV popped this on the screen. The hits just keep coming. United Health, I hope you guys aren't insured by United Health. United Health under criminal investigation for Medicare fraud. The Justice Department is digging into United Health Group over possible Medicare fraud, launching a criminal probe that's been active since last summer. The Fed's healthcare fraud unit is running point, signaling serious heat on one of the nation's biggest insurers. This comes as United Health stock already stumbles from a CEO shakeup and shaky financials. Now you think it's going to help now? With Medicare fraud now on the table, pressure is mounting fast. Washington's got its sights set on the insurer's books, and if charges follow, this could ripple far beyond Wall Street. And that's from the Wall Street Journal. So now, these are the things, even though it says it started last summer, you're seeing the things that Pam Bondi is actually working on. I've seen probably a number of different lawsuits and different things that are huge lawsuits, major impact on Americans, much, much bigger right now than an Epstein list, and it just keeps happening. And you're noticing it now. Okay, that's a lawsuit. Who did the lawsuit? Look at the very first paragraph, and it's coming from the Justice Department. So she's allocating staff and resources and going after one of the largest healthcare groups in the country. Why would you be going after a healthcare group? Well, one, if they've been ripping off Medicare. Two, if there's fraud involved. That means money was stolen. And if money was stolen, who got it? Now you're really starting to see what's really going on there. They're digging in. They need a predicate. They need some reason to get into the books. Now once I start getting into the books, I can see where the wire transfer here, go there. Because these companies couldn't have operated and perpetrated the fraud on the American people, because it's your money, without a whole lot of other people looking the other way. And I can't even imagine, as they're going through disbursements and wire transfers and ACH deposits and everything else, who got paid? What politicians? Who got the money? Fraud means money. It didn't all go to the CEO. It went to a whole bunch of people. And how long's it been going on? Can you imagine if it's been going on, I don't know, 3 or 5 years, and it's one of the nation's biggest insurers, and they've been caught now with Medicaid fraud? Yeah, yeah, it could be lots and lots and lots of money. Lots of money. Man, so much happening. And by the way, he's overseas. So call off the vote. I'll be back. We'll take care of things. Let me take some comments real quick. NASCAR Kid said this is some BS. Yeah, it is. I have United Healthcare Medicap supplement insurance. I would be more than happy to get rid of it. United Healthcare is corrupt. Maybe Luigi was right. Ooh, wow. Wow. Luigi was probably a person with CIA. I didn't even think of that. Didn't even. Ooh, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy. Imagine the other medical companies being investigated, like Blue Cross. Yeah. There had to have been kickbacks all over the place from so many of these giant conglomerates, these big insurance companies that are taking Medicare money and tax dollars. It's crazy. Family J said it's further back than that. Yeah, it may go back more than 5 years. You're right. This has been going on for over 30 years. 30 years. See, but they can't go back that far. Statutes of limitation would would allow it, but at the same time, in the period of time where they can go back, there's going to be a lot of bodies in the closet. Lots of them. Turn out the light. I got Humana. Watch, they may get it. Turn out the lights. The party's over. Now I think you're seeing how big the job the Department of Justice must have at this point. President Trump has set the priorities, and he has set these priorities. And again, think of that one phrase. It has nothing really to do with Epstein right now. I'm going to obliterate the deep state. In order to obliterate the deep state, you got to get the money. See, understanding that the ability to begin doing discovery and peeling back the onion layers, it's going to be very hard with the Epstein stuff. Because it's a bunch of logs with people and videos and everything else, and I don't even know what the statute of limitations are on some of that crazy stuff. I don't know how long. I mean, I have to grok. What's the statute of limitations on child stuff? However, once they start digging in this financial stuff, then they can see that money go to the guy who had the island. And did money go here? And what did they purchase? Oh, yeah. Some of these rich people have spent a lot of money doing things, and after a while, it probably got comfortable. Wow, it's been like 5 years, and nobody's even asking. Remember, take it all the way back to Wally the Nigerian in the Treasury Department. Just pay whatever comes in. Don't ask. Can't imagine that. Pay, stamp, pay, stamp, pay, stamp. Wire it out, wire it out, wire it out. Don't even worry about it. I can't even imagine over the course of a year, with trillions of dollars heading out the door, what they're doing right now and how they're having to go through and look at. I mean, could you imagine the flow chart on this stuff? Let's say yes, and I have a prescription that they won't pay for. Exactly. Well, looks like Senator Alsabrook, I voted for independent on my ballot. I didn't want her and Van Hollen. They're horrible. Deep state has been located. Rest should not be yelled about. My mom was on UHC. Now she's on Aetna. Obamacare, digging into that, was American. Yeah, they've done some really, really crappy stuff. Really crappy stuff. The deep state is the shadow government that goes back. You will see every day something new. Yep, every single day they're going to peel. Oh, man. Here too? Yep. Can't imagine what the job must be like for her. And you can see how they're fighting. Ed Martin, okay, so they moved Ed Martin now into the Department of Justice and to get his special counsel position. Janine Pirro, I don't know when she starts, but she's going to have to jump in the deep end of the pool right away. There's so much. Can someone please answer, is Trump back home safe? No, he is not home yet. Let me see when he's scheduled to go home. I will jump into my website thingy here. I can pull it over so you guys can take a look at it. And you can see his schedule yourself. Let me pull it up so any of you guys with questions can see it. By the way, if you ever want to go on this website, I mean, a lot of people post it, but you can get all kinds of information as to what is going on, and I find it to be very accurate. It's called Roll Call, and if you put in Roll Call Donald Trump, this will pop up. And this is how I find out most of the time what's going on. This is his public schedule. So started today, and these times are times here, not the times in Qatar or Saudi Arabia. So at 1 a.m., so where would we be now? We're down here. Let's see. All right, so 3:41 p.m. At 3:41 p.m., which was 10:41 in Qatar, they called their lid. So he's done at 10:41, at 3:41 our time because of the time change. He got back to his hotel at 10 o'clock, which was 3 o'clock our time. You guys can see that. So nothing else tonight. He's going to go to bed, get some rest, and then what will happen is tomorrow morning, at about 6 o'clock, this gets posted, and so you'll see Thursday's schedule tomorrow. So that's how I have to plan my days. I have to wait until they publish. What's he going to be doing? What's he going to be doing? And then I have to pick out like what's actually going to happen throughout the day. So this is called Roll Call, and you can just put Roll Call Donald Trump if you ever want to see what his schedule is like during the day. So this morning, at 1 o'clock in the morning our time, which was 8 o'clock in the morning in Saudi Arabia. He's been running since 8 o'clock this morning, and with the time difference and everything else, he's been gone all day, and till now it's 10:41 over there. I mean, it's a lot later than that. I mean, it's 8 o'clock here. It's 3 in the morning over there. All right, so just understand, if somebody had asked, did he leave? He did not leave, because if he'd left, let me just show you. When he's traveling and he's departing, see down here, it says President arrives at the airport, President departs the airport. Every single movement is charted, which is scary, but every single movement. So you see, he leaves the airport, he goes to the Ritz-Carlton. He arrives at the Ritz-Carlton. He departs the Ritz-Carlton to the Royal Court. Every single movement is charted. So if you want to see what the president's doing tomorrow, you can get on this page, and tomorrow they will fill out. So if it's 3 o'clock in the morning right now, because they're 7 hours ahead, so that's, just 3 o'clock in the morning over in Qatar. By the time you wake up, if you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is, 8 hours from now, he could be anywhere in the world, because he's going to be up way before we are. So, just understanding. All right. Let's continue. But that excuse me, that's how you can see what his schedule is. I have United Healthcare. How does it affect us? It shouldn't affect you at all. Actually, I mean, you're a patient. You're not involved in the managerial aspects of the business, so you should be completely fine. Let's see here. Mr. Kennedy need to go up and walk out when dum-dums start to talk. Oh, there's more too. Somebody had a good question here. Should they be posting specifics like that? Personally, no. I think you should not. If it should be on a need-to-know basis, but nope, they publish everything, and that information isn't like somebody got a leak. That's posted by the White House. They will give you an itinerary every single morning of what the president does. So they feel comfortable. And by the way, it was done with Biden. It was done before with Trump. So this is something that's always been done. The White House publishes the president's schedule wherever he is and whatever time of day. What was funny was when I used to look at that and look at Biden's schedule, it'd be like 1 o'clock lid. What do you mean lid? What's the president doing? He going to bed at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? I mean, it was a lot. A lot of times you'd look at that and like, wow, this dude's doing absolutely nothing. Now we know why. Oh, thank you, Carl. Barry today. Thank you, Barry. Great mod squad. All right, so I got more for you. We're not even halfway there yet. So let me show you some other stuff I wanted to go through tonight. So an interesting poll came out. Very interesting poll. Showing you how whacked. And you think to yourself, these people are crazy. How crazy can they be? Well, really effing crazy. Check this out. Which window shall I use for this so you guys can see? All right, we'll use this window. 71%. 71% of Democrats want Elon Musk in prison. When you read just the headline of this, you don't even have to go too far into it. The fact that 71% of Democrats want to see Elon Musk in prison is problematic, to say the least. Let me see if I can blow this up so you guys can see it a little bit better. And I could move it accordingly. All right, so let me pop this out so you guys can see it. So we can look at this thing here, okay? All right, so what do we got? We have an article that Mark Mitchell's team must have put out there, and it says, as this was from May 8th, since he agreed to lead President Trump's effort to reduce government waste, Elon Musk has become so hated by the liberals that they would overwhelmingly favor a law to put the high-tech billionaire behind bars. A new telephone and online survey by Rasmussen finds that 54% of likely voters would support a hypothetical law that would imprison Musk for his role in Doge, including 39% who would strongly support a law. 36% oppose a law that would send him to prison, including 26% who strongly oppose it, while 10% are not sure. I guess they're just idiots. 71% of Democrats would favor a hypothetical law to put Musk behind bars, as would 80%. 80% of self-identified liberal voters. But that's not what bothers me. What bothers me, because I know the nuts on the left, what bothers me is the next data point. 54% of Republicans and 57%, I'm glad it said it, would oppose such a law, which means just the opposite. If 54% would oppose it, that means 46% of Republicans would like to see Elon Musk in jail. 46% of Republicans want to see Elon Musk go to jail. For what? I guess they just want him in jail because he's exposing too much. But that's the scariest part of that entire poll. 46% of Republicans, which is why now we have to begin separating Republican from MAGA. It's getting very hard to keep telling people you're a Republican. They don't seem to have the same values that I have. They probably don't have the same values as you have. President Trump ran as a Republican, but he's far from a Republican. And now we're seeing even further. If they plan on wanting to put Elon Musk in jail, if they want you to create some hypothetical law that would put him in jail, 46% of Republicans like, yeah, do that. Get rid of him. For what? Well, what does that tell you? If 70% of Democrats want it and 46% of Republicans want it, then you got a whole lot of people who are being gaslit by the media. There's been no crime. He's done nothing wrong. He's been working at the behest of the president. He's been uncovering grift. He's been showing people how people have been stealing your money. And yet, 46% of Republicans want to put him in jail. I mean, I'm not going to compare the guy to Jesus, but my gosh, you're taking someone with no crime, and you want to be Pontius Pilate. Like, hey man, he hadn't done anything. What do you want me to do? You want me to put him in jail? What about some real criminals like the Maryland man? No, Elon. But this guy's been, trafficking people, and this guy just did some accounting and forensics. Put Elon in jail. All right, Elon, go to jail. That's bad. That's horrible. That's insane. So what you're telling me is 46% of Republicans want to see Elon in jail, then you're probably saying a good portion of Republicans want to see Trump in jail. What are we up against? I can't wait to talk to Mark Mitchell again and ask him about that. Is that what you're really saying? That there's a good portion of people who call themselves Republican that want to see him in jail? Well, I mean, by the extension, you'd want to see Trump in jail. Yeah, hey, Sean, you're right. 46% of Republicans are thieves. Yep, I love it. I hear you. They choose Barabbas every time. They choose Barabbas. And again, I don't want anyone to feel offended. I was just using a metaphor, but it's a very strong metaphor. The Maryland man, they're flying all over the countries to go defend him. They're breaking into ICE detention centers. They're doing everything for a guy who you know is a criminal. But this guy who's doing nothing but help the world and bought Twitter, we need to get rid of him. See, that should scare you. That should scare you because too many people want the world to be back like it was, where you and I couldn't discuss anything. Where, we were told, shut up, you're deleted, don't speak. That's what they really want to do. They stop looking at the money and shut these people up. Yeah, not gaslit. The Republicans are involved with the corruption. Look how long they've been in office. Exactly. We need their names. I wonder if Grok knows, really. Oh, God. Yeah, Tom Tillis is one of them. That's for sure. That's for sure. Corruption runs deep, very deep. Judge Janine was sworn in today. Awesome. I guess Pam Bondi would have sworn her in. That's absolutely awesome. Let's see what else. Yeah, they're destroying his property. Exactly. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that something would be like that. All right, so let me continue so you guys aren't here all evening. That was bad. Here's another indication of an actual news network, which probably causes the poll you just saw. Because people see this stuff and it's, garbage in type of thing. Let me go back to this post first. Howard Lutnick meets the family who financed the terrorist plot that murdered 658 of his employees, including his own brother. 3 days after 9/11, Lutnick cut off his dead employees' paychecks. Then somebody's like, this is a disgusting lie. Howard Lutnick spent $90 million of his own money supporting the families of his employees after 9/11. He supported them for 5 years. That's an absolute truth right there. You should be ashamed of yourself, and I hope he sues you into the ground for defamation. And, you know, there are a lot of crazy people out there, for sure. And so I can see that poll being as it is. And you just have to thank God that Biden and his people aren't in charge of Department of Justice right now, because that probably would be happening. And this one kind of pains me, because I grew up, and this guy was loved his music. I would have loved to be playing his music tonight as part of the after party, but I just can't, because he's turned into quite the nut job. Bruce Springsteen calls Trump administration corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous. After some initial reluctance, Bruce Springsteen has increasingly sounded off about the presidential administration of Donald Trump. Asked during a cover story interview with Variety in 2017 why he hadn't been more critical, he said, well, if you read Charles Blow, you're relying on Charles Blow. So ever since then, he has now decided, he doesn't like Trump. He got behind Kamala, did a concert for her, and it's amazing that some of the people that we held as hey, it's good music, it's everyday man music, and they went crazy. I was talking about it last night. How did these people just completely lose it? You're extremely rich. You've been extremely successful. You've used fiscal policies. We all know it. You have tax shelters and everything else. I would almost like to say these people, you know what? Before you talk, show us your tax return. Show us that you back it up. Today, I don't know if you noticed the old guy who got thrown out of the hearing. We're like, hey, I don't know if you guys saw it with me, but one of these guys got thrown out during a protest. It was Ben from Ben and Jerry. Ben Cohen was in there protesting RFK Jr. Dude, you've been making shit ice cream for like 30 years, and you're in there complaining about RFK Jr. Aren't you old enough where you should be retired? Aren't the 60s past your point at this? You're past the point of return. But nothing. Let me see if I can show this to you. Yeah, I can. Nothing got me as much as, in terms of showing me how crazy the left really is. Many of us have looked at people on the left, and I'm a happily married man, and my wife, I consider, she was beautiful when I met her. She's beautiful today. Many of you have beautiful family members. I consider my daughter beautiful. And you see on X with these people with purple hair and nose rings, and it's crazy. And now they've decided that you can't be a good-looking woman and be a liberal. Even to the point, depending on how you dress. This article popped up in the New York Times. The New York flippin' Times. The New York Times, the gray lady herself, I'm going to have to, so you guys can see this. Can I wear a sheath dress without looking like a MAGA woman? Women in President Trump's circle have a very unified look. What? They're good looking. Our critic explains where that comes from and how to style yourself against being good looking. And they've got a picture of Laura Trump in an elevator, and I guess that's called the sheath dress. I am not a fashionista, so I have no idea what it's called. But forget the dress. You can see her guns and everything. She's a very fit woman. Alina Habba, very fit woman. Caroline Leavitt, you saw her working out. And they have a problem with it. This woman, Vanessa Friedman, my style can be described as minimalistic meets classic. I own several sheath dresses that fit and flatter, but when I put them on now, they echo what I see as MAGA style. How can I restyle them without sacrificing my aesthetic? That's an actual question they're saying was somebody asked. I'm not making this stuff up. There's a very specific look associated with women who subscribe to the Trump worldview, one that is sort of a cross between a Fox newscaster and Miss Universe. Is that bad for a young girl to want to aspire to? I'm just asking. It generally involves flowing tresses that are at least shoulder length, false eyelashes, plumped up cheeks and lips, high heels, and as you say, a sheath dress. The effect underscores an almost cartoonish femininity that speaks to a relatively old-fashioned gender stereotype. The counterpart to this woman is the square-jawed, besuited guy with the side part. There's a lot of guys probably watching right now, and some are married, some are single, and they're probably thinking, and what's your point? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Be careful, guys. I know this is a story for the ladies to chime in on. And so, looking good is bad. You should be fat with purple hair and nose rings. Don't look like a MAGA. As if you could. Oh, that's funny. Simply consider the women of the Trump family who embody the standard. Melania, Ivanka, Laura, and Tiffany, as well as Don Jr.'s new girlfriend, Bettina Anderson, and Kimberly Guilfoyle, and Kristi Noem. So you just mentioned all good-looking women that women today should not aspire to dress like. Melania is a supermodel. She's, 60 years old and looks phenomenal. And they're like, you don't want to look like Melania. Oh, my goodness. Oh God, girl. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Marilyn in the... It reminds me of Marilyn in the Munsters. When they're like, oh, poor girl. She's so ugly. I don't know what we do with her. And Herman Munster, he's Frankensteinian, and Count Dracula was in the family. Grandpa. That's what they want. No, Marilyn was ugly. Oh my God, I probably just dated myself a lot by that Herman Munster reference. So anyway, and we can throw in Alina Habba as well. Oh, and then we also can throw in Usha Vance. In any case, the Trump-approved lady look has stayed so consistent that it has effectively infiltrated everyone's cerebellum. And now we have an almost Pavlovian reaction to seeing anyone with flowing hair and false eyelashes and lint plumber and a sheath dress. What's your point? Oh no, there's some good-looking women in MAGA. Oh no, I don't want to look. Oh yeah. Oh, stop, no more, please. But here's the thing. Of all the visual cues on that list, the sheath dress is the least important. The look of Trump... Now understand. This is a major media website. If there was anything that tells you that the Democrats have nothing, it's the New York Times dedicating an entire column talking about how great-looking, fit MAGA women aren't something you should aspire to be. Oh my goodness. And it goes on. And it goes on. And see, it's me. I have to show you these things because you're like, there's no way, Barry. You're lying. I'm not lying, man. They're talking about not admiring good-looking, fit women. They actually took the time to write this long-winded missive, and they actually put her picture in the article as, oh no, don't look, shield your eyes. Oh my goodness. Oh, don't look. So, guys, I already know your answer. You're like, yeah, okay. Ladies, in the comment section. Whether you wear sheath dresses or you're past the age of wearing sheath dresses, is there a problem with what MAGA women look like? I'm just saying. Because, damn, these people have nothing. I purposely didn't look at the comments because I'm like, this has got to be crazy in here. Barry, I don't think that would insult the MAGA woman. Yeah, you might wake up on the floor with a broken nose. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. That is so funny as they out themselves. Yeah, it's crazy. They just make themselves sound dumb. Oh, why you gonna do that to me? Barry, you know they just want some more Big Tish. Big Letty. Oh, Lizzo. Yes, she's hot, Lizzo. Better looking than a couch. I'm a beautiful plus-size woman. You go, Christine. Oh, man. Oh, mega women are beautiful. But, I mean, it's to the point where they do this, and it's absolutely crazy. So I saw something here. I wanted to bring it up. It must have went too fast. Yeah. You know you're winning when this is what you're writing. Somebody said, and I'm going to have to disagree. Where was that? If I can find it. Okay. Oh, wow, that went too fast. Okay, let me go to the next page because I want to pull this up. Okay, here it is. Davin Winslow says, Barry, Tim Pool is saying that the nuts are gearing up for more George Floyd style riots. And let me be the first to tell you, Mr. Winslow, that ain't gonna happen. You see, George Floyd style riots required George Floyd type people. If you know what I mean, and I think you do. You see, George Floyd type people are people who look like George Floyd. And right now, there is nothing that the people who look like George Floyd, they're fine. What are you going to do? Maybe pay them, but even then, so you want me to go out and burn stuff and risk jail time because you want to fight for the Maryland man. See, the problem that the Democrats are having right now is that not only can MAGA, meaning you people, see what's going on, but black people see what's going on. And remember, the people that they rely on had their hands out. And now, many people, black people, Spanish people, people who were part of that coalition to go out and burn stuff, you ain't been treating us right. We're not getting the VIG. And so, no, they're not going to riot. So I don't agree, Tim Pool, love it, but I'm going to have to disagree. They may try to gear it up, but their soldiers don't want to come. So scratch the black people. So now you're saying, okay, well, they'll bring in, more of the newcomers. This isn't going to jail overnight. This is going to El Salvador. So which one of these newcomers that they brought in is going to go ahead and riot? You kidding me? Oh, Trump would. They don't even pass go. You're going to be like an airport. Yeah, bring it in. Bring them in. They got to go. So who are you expecting to go burn? These 65-year-old people who've been around since Woodstock? Yeah, good luck with that. So no, Tim Pool, as much as they would want a, George Floyd type thing, unless they pay some cop to intentionally pop some black guy and say, let's have to sacrifice a couple of you, okay? We're going to have to do something, get the Negroes all riled up. Because if we don't get them riled up, what are we going to do with the summer of love? It'd be the summer of Geritol. It ain't going to happen. Plus, people are doing well. There's nothing to complain about. I guess if they say that George Chauvin, the guy who knelt on George Floyd's neck, if he gets pardoned or something, maybe they can try and rile people up that way. But it ain't there. There's no kindling. There's nothing to start the fire. So, Tim, love you, but you ain't got this color skin. And the brothers I'm talking to, like, no, what am I doing? I'm not going to risk myself for what cause? See, that's the next thing you have to say. In the riot of back then, when the George Floyd thing was happening, the reason why they were rioting was because specifically they were upset because of what happened with another brother. So they had a reason to be out there. BLM was hot back then. Now it's a fraud. Everybody knows they stole money. So what's a kindling that's going to get the brothers in the hood all riled up again? And here's something else they didn't have before. They like Trump. So I don't know how they're going to rile people up, because the brothers like Trump. And it's not going to happen. So Antifas, there ain't enough of them. And they're not enough widespread around the country, so good luck. And then on top of everything else, go ahead and burn Detroit and some of these cities. I don't care. I don't live there. Do what you need to do. So for those reasons, all combined, I'm saying no. That ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. All right, so let's let you guys know. Yeah, no doubt. Somebody said Trump would call in the National Guard. Give him a reason. See, that's the biggest thing. Give Trump a reason. He's right there on the edge. Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem have both said, yeah, he's thinking about suspending habeas. Give him that reason. I double dog dare you. Give him a reason to flip the switch. He's waiting to do it. Oh boy, that would be funny. Lock them all up. Remember, he just took control of Rikers. Yeah, so it's like that. All right, so let me go ahead and take a moment and talk to you about what do we got here? Yep, we've got Patriot Addict. They want to talk to you about the blankie. The big, nice Trump blankie is right over here. Let me bring it out and move it around so you guys can see it, so I can display it. Where is I like showing it with the actual name. Flip it around. I had to stop the dog from pulling on it today. I almost spanked her. Lily was trying to chew it. But here we go. This is the Trump blanket. And guess what? I believe, if they didn't change it, you can get it for free. That's the Trump blanket. It's driving liberals crazy if somehow they're able to see it, but it's a pretty big blanket. It's quite warm. It's well made. And Patriot Addict is offering it exclusively to the Fanfare family. For a limited time only. They're giving away these blankets for free. It's free. Free. All you have to do is pay shipping. No hidden charges, no recurring fees, none of that BS. Just cover a small shipping fee and it's yours. All you have to do is go ahead and click on the QR code and you'll be able to get this blanket for free. And let's be honest, you'll like it. It'll drive your liberal neighbors crazy if they see you wrapped up at the hayride or something. Patriot Addict is doing this to show their support for Trump in these challenging times and to make room in their warehouse. But this offer is only available to the Fanfare family. Here, look again. Check it out. It's nice. It's nice. All you got to do is scan the QR code on the screen and you will get this for free. Absolutely free. So if you'd like it, all you got to do is pay shipping and it's yours. All right, so we're at that time. I got to do super chats first. And then we're going to jump over to Rumble. We're going to finish up over there. Going to have some fun. I think I've got some different music for you. Some different stuff. If you guys haven't joined us before, let me just go ahead and put this up. So what happens at about this time during the nighttime show, I finish the show exclusively on Rumble. And so if you want to join us on Rumble, that would be the link tonight. Go to fanfareshop.org, Rumble May 14th, and it will just jump you over there, and you're seeing me, the same thing, but it just won't be on YouTube, and it won't be on X. It shuts down the feed on both YouTube and on X, and it's only available on Rumble. And so what'll happen is you'll see me as after I come back from the break, and then we'll be live on Rumble. So I'll leave that up right now. And so somebody goes, I wish I looked like those hotties. That's too funny. Way too funny. Yeah. How much is shipping? I'm not sure. I believe it's like $14. I wish I looked like those hotties. That just cracks me up. That just really cracks me up. All right, so let me go ahead and look at Super Chat so I don't forget them when we jump over. Give me a second. Okay, hold on. Let me put this up here. And make sure I got everything in place here so that we can all see what's going on. And I really, really thank you guys. Oh, by the way, I'm late with it, but I will be doing it beginning next week. We are giving away the tickets to go see Uncle Ted. So if you want to win basically an all-expense paid trip to see Ted Nugent, make sure you're here Monday night. We're going to do that. Monday night, we're going to begin giving away or starting the tickets. But what I'll do is I will post a link to the sign up in the group probably Sunday, and so everybody can see that. Alrighty, let's go. And let me put up the link so you guys can see this at the same time. Alright, so we can do this. Fume Drummer, if the Iran announcement turns out to be true, it's absolutely historic. The new Trump doctrine of you do you and we'll do us is also historic. Amazing. Demon of Cybertron. The old guy that got kicked out in the RFK hearing is Ben of Ben and Jerry's. Why would he protest RFK Jr.? Maybe it has to do with the ingredients. Yep. Viking King. Barry is a Washington State citizen. We know her firsthand effect. Patty Murray is a joke. Her job? What a job. I can't believe what I feel sad for you guys. Donna, thank you. Donna again. Crap. I have this really sucks. What happened, Donna? Job for 9. Tim introduced ended congressman in stock trading. Please interview him again. This is huge. Winning. Yeah, so there's a bill being promoted right now to end insider stock trading. So yes, that's Tim Burchett. Yeah, a lot. Job for 9. Medal of Freedom for Elon. I agree. Fume Drummer, we need a MAGA party. Okay, if you guys want to come down. I've been asking if you guys want to come down. Oh, you mean MAGA party to run against Republic. I see what you're saying. Patty Siebold, Elon is a national treasure, indeed. Just another knucklehead. Just FYI, Barabbas was Jesus Barabbas, so they did pick a Jesus. Raven Kirkendall, I'm confused. Jail Elon for what? That's just it. That you're answering the question. For what? Because they hate him. Patty Siebold, libs are lemmings. They are unable to think for themselves. Agreed. Fazul, thank you. Mega style problem is addressed. They look great. When you got to spend a whole article in the New York Times telling women, don't worry about it. You don't want to look like them. Matt Martin, how about Jennifer Aniston? She must be MAGA too. Really, for real. Let me see here. Brian Newland, thank you. I like my woman without an Adam's apple and junk. Read the word daily. Thank you. Trump doesn't say don't. He says I dare you. Absolutely. And there was somebody. Let me get to it. Let me push up. Where is it? Let's see here. Who'd this come from? Gasworks. Hello. I'm MAGA all the way. Thank you very, very, very much. Gasworks, thank you very much. You rock. You rock. All right, everybody. So I'm going to play the break. And what the break will do is just going to give me time to do a quick change. And then when we surface, we'll be on the other side. So let me just go ahead and click the button here before we jump. It's going to shut down on, it's going to shut down on YouTube and on X, and we're only going to be on Rumble. By the time you wake up, it will be in a different place. All right, here we go. Ready?